feel like it's such a good thing to take away is to face your fears and get out of your comfort zone. And I love your
Maddie,
background. It's so
thank,
fun.
thank you. My symphony of madness, I suppose.
I
I
love
don't know how
it.
to describe it
I
anywhere else.
love it. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It makes for it works with what we're talking about and stuff like that as well. It's fun.
Hmm.
Uh, Thank you for the time. Honestly, Zombie Town is just it's so funny. So much
Oh my
fun.
God, of course. Thank you. It really is. I actually watched it again last week. It is really fun.
It really is across the board. What was it that excited you to be a part of it most?
Um, well, a lot of things. The cast, obviously. I was super geeked out over that. I am a huge like thriller, horror, campy horror, anything that has to do with like zombies or vampires or wolves or anything Halloweeny. I'm so into it. So when I read the role, I was like, this is perfect for me. So I was so excited about that.
Honestly, if that's where your love is, this is the right film. Like it really
Oh
is.
yeah.
And I mean, my gosh, like you, I know you got to work with Henry and Chevy, and you had a lot of scenes with Dan Akroyd.
Yes, I
Uh,
did.
what was that like? And was there anything you took away from that?
Oh my gosh, yes. So obviously going into it, I knew who all of them were, and I was like, wait, really? They like want me in this? Like that's iconic. So going into it, I was definitely super intimidated to be working with actors on that level. But they made it so easy. Everyone was so welcoming. Dan, I was saying before, was like a fatherly figure. Like we were just bouncing off of each other in scenes. He's so funny. Like we could not stop laughing. It was just such a fun process. And I definitely was super nervous. So the fact that everyone was so sweet and welcoming was great, especially because I was there for a month. So it was perfect.
Well, it seemed like there was that sort of environment. Like when you guys are playing off each other, you're playing with each other. Like this is one of those sorts of films where everybody seems to be enjoying themselves and with a real energy on set. I imagine that was the experience as well.
Yes, even in like late nights and all of us being super, super tired. I remember we filmed the party scene with me and Dan at night, and I was so tired. And then I was obviously like a little delirious, so like everything was funny to me, especially with all the zombies like coming, trying to take me away. That was really funny. But yeah, no, we had great chemistry. It was so much fun, and we took that energy over just to like even with us just chilling and at Crafty and everything. It was really fun.
That's so cool. I got to ask you about R.L. Stein. Like this is a I mean, we have these big names on screen, and I mean he's on screen too, but the influence of him
Yes.
been so deep. So what in your mind is the greatest influence of R.L. Stein? And what was, I mean, did you get to work with him at all?
I actually did not, but I grew up on R.L. Stein. I was also just saying that recently, like 2 weeks ago, we have this thing at Universal in LA called Halloween Horror Nights, and they still have all of these goosebump mazes and everything. And I was saying, I was like, this is so, so cool. But yeah, when I got presented with the project, I was literally like, wow, I just can't believe that they want me to do this. It feels like they need someone like a huge actor to be in this. Yeah, I don't know. I've been such a fan for so long, so it was just so cool to be a part of a project like this and be a character that R.L. Stine created. Like that is so awesome to me, and I still geek out about it all the time. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible.
I mean, that's it. You are essentially in the Goosebumps universe, if you will, or cousins to it, I guess.
Yeah, we're cousins.
Let's talk zombies. Let's talk
Mhm.
zombies here. I was wondering to you, like this is a film that plays with the genre a little bit. Um, but I'm wondering in your mind, like, what is it about zombies? What do they say to you? Why are we obsessed with them?
Well, I thought this was super cool because prior to filming, I actually was not a zombie fan. I well, not even like a zombie fan, but I had never seen a zombie movie ever because I don't know why. I'm really into like the psychological thrillers and like all of those things. So I was like, oh my gosh, like is this gonna be like super gory? Like this is gonna be so fun. And I think it was really cool that it wasn't gory and it was more of like a soul suck and it was super like in the head. That was so awesome to me. And I was like, yeah, this is right up my alley. But since then, I've gotten definitely into more like zombie video games and everything. But I don't know. I think it's just so, I mean, I think I'm gonna go as one for Halloween this year because I didn't do it last year. Um, but I think that people are obsessed with them because it's almost like I don't know. I feel like I could just turn into a zombie, and I actually do think that zombies could be real somewhere. So I don't know. I'm obsessed with them now. The film definitely made me obsessed with them.
Well, I think the film even opens that quote. There wouldn't be so. It was Stein again, R.L. Stein. There wouldn't be so many stories about strange things like zombies if they didn't exist.
Exactly. Because how do you make that up? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you know what? There's something else that I thought was interesting about this film too. Just pulling back a little bit, and there's a lot of talk about sort of fan culture in this
Hmm.
movie. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. It's something we don't really see a lot. And all these people are obsessed with I think it's Carver, the latest
Yeah.
Carver film. I was wondering if maybe I'm wondering in your mind, do you think maybe fans because I'm one too, maybe expect too much from our franchises? Like this guy just is running because of the pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Think especially like Carver has been making these films for so long, and obviously people, age, and sometimes you can't be putting out movies every 2 weeks. So I definitely think like pressure from fans um can be a lot. And I mean, he, was hiding away for so long and everyone was like, "What? Where's Carver?" and this and that. So, yeah, I feel like that's a really real thing that happens.
Yeah, honestly, I sort of thought for a minute, I was like, if this weren't a zombie movie, it could be anything. Could be Marvel, could be this, these
Right.
die-hard fans looking for their next fix, if you will.
Hmm. I mean,
Uh,
there's so many different, fan groups from like K-pop to you just have like these huge groups of people that would literally like die for these people. So I feel like that could be a lot of pressure. But
yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Like the pressure that puts would be enormous on anybody as a creator, I'm sure. Absolutely.
oh yeah.
Uh, one of the other things I loved about this film is the conversation with your friend in the film. I can't think of the character's name. Amy's friend that she's with all night.
Oh, Mike?
Mike, that's it, Mike. Who's afraid of the zombie films, won't watch them. Your
Mhm.
character's obsessed, but he can't get past his fear. And I wondered in your mind, he has to sort of admit it, get it out.
Right.
I'm wondering in your mind, what do you think the power is of admitting our fear?
Oh, that's a great question. I've actually been researching this a lot. And I've been doing kind of like exposure therapy in a way of like things like, that make me anxious or not like things that I'm like, obviously not like zombies, but just like things that overwhelm me. And I think that when you get in a headspace just to accept it and, like the exposure therapy thing, I think it helps a lot. Um, yeah, I don't know really, but that is a really good question.
So what I'm hearing is that you have been casing yourself or locking yourself in with zombies. Is that correct? Is that what
Yeah,
what
actually,
you're
I
trying to
did
get
that
over
20
there?
minutes ago. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
exactly. I mean, even with like horror mazes and like all of these, like especially because it's Halloween time, like I am scared of a lot of things, especially things that are super gory. So every time I go there, I kind of like it's nice to face your fears and expose yourself to that. And I always feel better after I do. I don't really know what the science is behind it, but then I do it again and again and again, and every time it gets easier. So.
Well, you brought it up. What was it like going to Halloween horror nights? I mean, what your experience there? Because I hear I've never been. I hear they're like wild and pretty intense.
Oh, they're wild. So I've been for the past, I don't know, probably like 6 years in a
Oh
row.
my
And
God.
in high school, it was like the thing. Like we would go with like groups of 20 people and we would just go all night. It's so much fun. And the mazes just keep getting better and better every single year. And I think that this year I'm doing this thing called the 17th door. And it's really terrifying. They can touch you. They can like touch you and stuff and Halloween Horror Nights. But there's like this crazy maze and they put bags over your heads and it's like there's places where you get like super claustrophobic. There's shock chairs. I don't even know really why I want to do it, but all of my friends are going. So I'm like, this could be really fun and it's scary. So
It just sounds like a kidnapping. Like, what?
yeah, it does. I'm like, y'all really want to do this? Like, this is fun. And they're like, yeah, it's for the thrill. I'm like, okay, well, in that case, I guess I'll go. But
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, talking about embracing fear, like, you know, there's that's the ability to be able to go through that. And we all do it. We all look for haunted
mhm,
houses and stuff like that this time of year. And I think fear is a fascinating thing because, you know, there's something about at this time of year, especially, we sort of embrace it, which we don't
mhm.
do the rest of the year, I think, in some
Right.
ways, I think is really interesting.
That is interesting. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I really like in the summertime, I don't want to go through a haunted house. I think it's just the season.
Well, you know, and one of the things you said about this one too, this isn't a gory film. This is one of the, I mean, this fits very neatly in with the R.L. Stein style. It's a
Right.
family funny, but it's still got those moments of tension
Mhm.
that work really well, I think, in his brand. And you're a ton of fun in it. Both like the relationships you have with your characters, a lot of fun. Um, and I know it's I think it's finally hitting Hollywood Suite on the 22nd of October
Mhm.
here in Canada. And but what is it that you hope audiences enjoy or take away from Zombie Town?
Ooh, that's also wow, you have so many great questions. Um, I think like honestly the fear thing, I feel like it's such a good thing to take away is to face your fears and get out of your comfort zone and, explore new things and that friendships are super, super important and powerful. And if you have a great support system behind you, then you can really do anything. I mean, look what we did in Zombie Town. Like, that's close to impossible, but we did it together. And also, it's just such a fun, like, spooky movie that you can watch with your family and friends and just have a good time and laugh a lot.
Yeah, there were some moments where I actually laughed out loud. I thought it was pretty great. Um,
That is great.
Honestly, Maddie, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the best. The film's fun. It's such a
Thank
blast.
you so much. I'm so glad you like it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.